Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in a best of 3 series between Fnatic's Fenix and EG's StrifeCro here on Terminus SE. Not the same as Terminus RE. There is destructible rocks here, and this is a normal Vespene geyser, not a rich one. We can see Fenix spawning at the 12 o'clock location as the blue Terran. Meanwhile, at the 6 o'clock location, we have StrifeCro as the yellow Zerg, so it is going to be a full cross spawn here on Terminus, and I'm wondering how this game will really play out. Zerg players normally like macro style maps. Getting up additional hatcheries let them run their bases much more efficiently. After that power droning, easily getting up to 60, perhaps even 80 drones, able to just constantly send swarm and wave after wave of units against their opponent. Perhaps the most fearsome thing about the Zerg is that with the proper economy and the proper number of just hatcheries, they just never stop coming at you. And that is perhaps what StrifeCro is going to do on macro maps. We'll see how Fenix does respond on this macro map, and he is responding by placing a low ground barracks. So a low ground barracks will allow him to set up a command center here, perhaps go for an even 17 or 18 command center, as he's going for a double Rax build. Okay, so completely from one side of the game, thinking that he was going to go for an early command center, to now a very, very aggressive double Marine push. This is going to be very interesting, as the Marines are going to simply make their way down over here. I don't know if this is going to really work at all, as Fenix is very far from his opponent. StrifeCro is down over here as well. The hatchery is now morphing into play. If Fenix does get another barracks or perhaps some supply depots, he can then easily get a command center. Now the quick question will be whether or not StrifeCro over-responds with Zerglings. Whenever a Zerg player does in fact spot the double racks, it is very important that the Zerg player get enough forces, but not too many. For every pair of Zerglings that you have, that is a drone that could be there. And if you accidentally if you over-Zergling, I guess, instead of power droning, your Terran opponent with those mules, if he has another command center here, can respond rather quickly and really get a strong lead. An SCV now coming down over here. We can see a Marine now pushing its way over, so he now knows that it is going to be, in fact, a cross spawn. As the Marine now pushing its way over here, you can see an SCV. The SCV does spot the hatchery. The hatchery is now down. A bunker is being placed. So that bunker is now being set up. Drones are going to be making their way over. Zerglings are going to be added. And a Marine needs to be very, very careful. Two Marines. Zerglings now pushing their way in as well. So it's going to be 2 Marines and 2 SCVs. That bunker is about halfway done. 2/3 of the way done now. And this is going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to be happening here. You can see that the SCV does have a little bit of life in it left, and it looks like this bunker will be completed. The Marines are going to jump inside that bunker, and this may be a nightmare. The Zerglings now perhaps going to essentially just run by and catch some of these Zerglings or these Marines in transit. So the Marines sitting here, the Marines now pushing down, getting some damage onto the hatchery. There is a Queen. Not quite sure why the Queen... why the SCVs are not, and the Marines are not attacking the Queen there, as the Zerglings are just able to patrol there and and just stop the flow of reinforcements, and that is very important. A Marine now being forced to pull back once again. The Marines pushing forward. The Queen moving not moving away in time. And now this one hatchery will get taken down, but the Zerglings now swarming in. The SCVs want to try to get us a repair. It doesn't look like the SCVs will be able to repair in time. Down to 19 hit points. I believe it actually could have kept it alive if they tried to, but the bunker now taken down, but there are still a lot of mass Marines here. 8 Marines continuing this pressure and pushing. A lot of Zerglings being queued up. 19 SCVs versus 17 drones as the Marines once again fighting back and forth, trying to finish off the rest of those Zerglings. A transfusion on a Zergling and saving it there. And now StrifeCro with 1 Queen, and now needing to train up perhaps another. and was able to fend off that attack. I think if the SCVs had just stuck a little bit closer to that bunker, the bunker would have never fallen, and then that would have been a very strong position to try to hold. You can see Marines are now just simply waiting over here. They're going to have some support of other Marines, as well as another barracks being placed down. The command center, 2/3 of the way completed, 21 SCVs versus 22 drones. The Zerglings do not want to engage. They do not have metabolic boost, and with 8 Marines, or even with just 6 Marines are able to one-shot a Zergling rather quickly. And now this is going to be a bit of a problem, as the Marines trying to get as much distance as possible, now constantly pulling back. It looks like the Zerglings are slowly starting to fall and melt away, but I think the Fenix has enough Marines to finish off that. And now Fenix, with a much larger army, and in a very decent situation here, he's sitting on 24 SCVs, will be able to transfer some SCVs. He will not be mining off of diminishing returns. StrifeCro finally getting up another queen, but he still needs to figure out how he's going to transition into the mid game, and that's exactly how he's going to do it with another hatchery. He really needs the power drone, and he really needs to just activate these Naga watchtowers. I don't know why he's not controlling these towers. By controlling these towers here and here, essentially he will have a 45-second early warning system on when these Marines are moving. Now, a Zergling now catches that army now moving in, so we are going to be getting a lot more Zerglings swarming about. Another round of spawn larva coming in. It looks like the Zerglings are now lying in wait. There is not enough creep. The Zerglings do have that metabolic boost, though, so the Zerglings are going to simply swarm in around. A queen now coming in as well. The queen should have engaged. Not quite sure why he didn't. She didn't. I guess it is a queen. But it could have perhaps saved a couple of Zerglings by dealing a little bit more damage. And now another spawn larva coming in. The hatchery about 75% done. The Zerglings once again swarming to that front door. But really, what can they expect to do? There's that barracks front door is just so strong. And now we are going to be getting all of these, or this destructible debris slowly picked apart. Reactors are now being added as well here and here, so we are going to be getting medevacs very shortly. A Marine on the low ground can only just wait and see what's going to be happening with those Zerglings, as the Zerglings are just able to get some damage onto those rocks. The rocks do have 3 armor, so the Zerglings are only doing 2 damage per attack, but with the sheer number of Zerglings, that really definitely does help. And we are now getting another tech lab out of the factory, so it is going to be Marine Marauder medevac. In just a moment, we are going into layer and also getting a Baneling's Nest, so that Baneling's Nest, perhaps the front door may fall. It does take a decent number of Banelings to shut this down, but if you try to hit in between these 2 buildings right here, 12 Banelings rolling in right here can take down both barracks, and then allow Zerglings to swarm in on both sides. I know it is rather expensive, but to shut down your opponent's production buildings like that, it is very important to do so. Fenix with a very nice positioning here. These Marines holding the line. The Marines will only be fighting 1 Zergling at a time, and now we see StrifeCro running off of the 3 bases that he needs, and also power droning, getting up to 67 drones already. As long as he just doesn't slip up in terms of over droning, now he should be able to take this game. You can see that a dropship now coming in. The Overlord should spot this dropship as it comes in. That medevac going to unload 4 Marines in just a moment. The Zerglings need to get down there and in a hurry, and they are now coming in. The Marines and Marines able to get off some drone kills. The drones now pushing it through. The medevac taking a lot of damage. The Zerglings now trying to swarm around, and this one medevac will live and fight another day. And now it is Fenix sitting on a very large army, but really unable to do anything about it. You can see him sitting on an army about 5 times total cost, but really unable to respond. You can see a lot of Zerglings being hatched, and the centrifugal hooks also being upgraded. Spine crawlers are being morphed into play over here, but with so many medevacs, you have to really be careful, as a Fenix may be able to drop perhaps into... Oh, there is no... I thought there was... Oh, that must be the other version of Terminus. As we are now going into double evolution chamber, Overlords will spot this. A medevac over here as well, so this will be a double drop on the main base and the third base, as well as the Marines now dropping in. Marines and medevacs fighting their way back. It looks like another group of Zerglings able to clean that off over here, but the main damage is being dealt. Fenix now with the dominant army going after the spawning pool. The spawning pool quickly gonna get taken down. And now that means no more Zerglings anytime soon. The Banelings now simply rolling their way over. It doesn't look like the Queens will be coming in. And yeah, there goes the rest of those Marines in retreat. But another drop happening over here instead. A macro hatch is in play. The Queen now barely able to escape, as this drop is just doing mountains and mountains of damage. Taking a look at the harvester count, though, 61 compared to 49. Zerglings and Banelings may still be able to find their target. Overlord after Overlord getting shut down here. So it is just the sheer amount of drops that is making StrifeCro just fall off of his game a little bit. Another Overlord down. And now we see StrifeCro supply blocked at 91 over 88, upside down on food. 60 drones versus 51 SCVs. We are now getting some Mutalisks. Those Mutalisks really need to shut down those medevac drops, but it is now too little, too late. Fenix moving out and rolling out with a very large army of Marines and Siege Tanks, and this is now Fenix's game, unless he makes a critical mistake, or unless EG StrifeCro does an amazing maneuver and does some amazing trades here. You can see that the Marines simply pushing their way forward. We do have Mutalisks hiding off over here. The Marines are going to be able to shut down some of those creep tumors, and now attempting to take down those destructible rocks. Siege tanks are now sieging up. They are pretty deep, so those siege tanks will be able to cover each other. As the medevacs now dropping onto the low ground, Mutalisks simply coming in and trying to get some damage there. Production, we are getting more Zerglings and level 1 weapons upgrade. Banelings now rolling in as well. One siege tank now down. Another siege tank down, as well as more Banelings just getting destroyed. And Fenix's army is going absolutely devastated. A very nice trade by StrifeCro. And StrifeCro has evened up the score. Army is now 1350 versus 1400. More Zerglings now swarming out once again. But Fenix during that time was also able to even up the economic game. So even though the armies are now pretty even, Fenix now has a stronger economy with the help of those mules. You can see the gas slightly advantageous for Fenix. Minerals also slightly advantageous, as the Zerglings now going to swarm around, take down all of these Marines. The Marines could easily jump inside the medevac, deciding not to, as another drop over here just lies in wait. Vikings looking to hunt down more and more Overlords. Another Overlord will get destroyed there. Getting some easy damage on Overlords. Overlord hunting with Vikings, an ever so popular sport for Terran in the Corpula sector. Medevacs and Marines on the low ground. A siege tank on the high ground providing that extra support. Fenix has now macroed up his army once again, and we'll see how he does this time around. He does not have the army advantage like he did in the previous battle, but perhaps he is a little bit more well prepared at what StrifeCro will be throwing at him. StrifeCro now getting up his fourth base. It looks like his main base is starting to mine out already, so he needs to transfer the drones from the main base in just a moment. Income-wise, 71 drones versus 73 drones versus 71 SCVs. Another command center being established as well, as upgrades are being researched across the board. Level 2 weapons upgrade, level 2 claw, and level 2 carapace versus level 2 infantry. The siege tanks, I do not believe... Oh, the siege tanks do have level 1 weapons upgrade, and that's really all you need, as that is enough to shut down Banelings and Zerglings in one shot. Marines now simply pushing up that ramp. Will be able to get off a couple easy kills there. The Zerglings may end up doing a little bit of a swarm here. The Banelings do move very quickly on creep, but unable to find their target in time there, as the Marines are now once again backing off. A double split hatchery. StrifeCro also expanding here into the 3 o'clock location. If that hatchery does get up, he will have a strong economic advantage, as the planetary fortress here, Fenix, is now getting a large influx of minerals. Will be able to call down some additional mules as well. Army combinations, we are now seeing on 10 siege tanks, only 1 medevac. That one medevac healing up so many Marines needs to do a better job, as it will quickly run out of energy. A Thor also being added as well. Level 2 infantry upgrades are now being completed. The Mutalisk perhaps could have gotten a one-shot kill or a two-shot kill off onto those siege tanks. Poor Zergling on the low ground never saw, or I guess he did see what was coming, as he did activate the Xel'Naga Watchtower. As the Marines are now once again pushing in, Zerglings deciding to swarm as well, as there are now a fair number of Mutalisks. We are now going into the all-important Infestation Pit for Zerg. Infestation Pit, so important to get fungal growth off, shutting down Marines. Mutalisks now simply swarming in, getting in some damage there. Spine Crawlers are getting destroyed. Mutalisks are absolutely destroying those Marines. We should be getting a counterattack over here. Zerglings now swarming in along both sides. Both sides just getting absolutely surrounded. The high ground getting cleaned up. The Banelings getting destroyed before they're able to finish off the siege tanks, but there's still a small group of units here, a very tactical force. The Mutalisk now finishing off the rest of those Marines, but it may not be enough, as a Thor now bringing up the rear. Marines with that one medevac looking to deal even more damage. You can see this one hatchery already down to 208 hit points. The drones now being transferred perhaps over here, as there is no mining going off there, and now the siege tanks are rolling out once again. Thor is sitting at 1-0 upgrades, level 2 weapons upgrade for the Thors, 3-2 upgrades on those Marines, and siege tanks will be coming in shortly. The drones once again now being transferred, but I don't know if StrifeCro has enough time to get the proper infestors. Mutalisk may be able to finish off some of those medevacs though, and one medevac already down. It looks like the rest of those Marines are going to get taken down there. Zerglings is starting to finish off. There are not that many Marines, but the Thor, the perfect counter to Mutalisks who want to try to focus fire onto those siege tanks. Otherwise, they will just hover around and go after the Thor, and the Thor does have a large amount of hit points. You can see the siege tanks once again sieging up, getting in even more damage. Another Mutalisk getting shot down there, and I believe, yeah, this is just Fenix's game to win now. There's not much that StrifeCro can really do. He is mining really well off of this one base, so perhaps his economy, his economy is still very far behind. This expansion already mined out. This expansion very minimal, as you can see Fenix establishing the two of the center expansions, and now a Marine and a medevac attempting to clear out this hatchery over here. The siege tanks are still playing hopscotch, still moving forward ever so slowly but surely. Almost at 200 food, maximum food now for Fenix compared to 112, and this is not looking good, as the Marines and siege tanks are still reinforcing from halfway across the map. Mutalisk, hoping to catch a little bit of those units in transit, will not be able to do so, as they are already now just swarming all together. This one hatchery will fall. Banelings and Mutalisks battling it out. The Marines able to run away. These Mutalisks are going to get cleaned up by Marines. No, the Marines are not even engaging yet. As soon as these Marines start to fight back, these Mutalisks will start to take a little bit of a hit as well. But it doesn't even seem like StrifeCro really cares about those Marines in the center portion of the map. But there is the GG, and Fenix takes this series 2-1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 3 in this series between EG StrifeCro and Fnatic's Fenix.